Sounds good.
But effectively, we are going to start with you in the Sword Coast, south of Waterdeep. Everybody has received messages from a noble of Waterdeep, Lady Belinda Anteos. She is currently residing in Daggerford along the Tradeway. It's about 150 miles south of Waterdeep, and in general, it is between Waterdeep and the way to Baldur's Gate. There are other major locations along the Tradeway. It goes pretty much from Baldur's Gate all the way up to Waterdeep, and in some ways, it kind of extends a little bit south of Baldur's Gate towards Candlekeep, but predominantly it is used by the people who would be trading between the major cities. And the road relatively continues beyond Waterdeep to the north, though it is named the King's Way as it leaves Waterdeep on the north side there. But this basically stretches the entirety of the Sword Coast, linking much of the cities who are parts of the Lord's Alliance. With the note of Belinda Anteos, you all will have some level of you are mercenaries, adventurers, any level of people who are willing to rise to the occasion of someone in need. Belinda Anteos is in a greater need as her daughter has recently gone missing. While she was being sent back to Waterdeep to return to school and to return to her father's side, Sophia has gone missing, and the only reason they know about it is that some hunters who were coming up from the south in the Misty Forest have found and returned a ruby pendant that she once wore. The Misty Forest, in particular, is about. I don't know how I managed to not even circle the Misty Forest there. The Misty Forest, in particular, is about 100 miles southeast of Daggerford. So very much something went wrong, as Sophia never even went in the correct direction toward Waterdeep before seemingly having gone missing. So you would all be, for whatever reason, local at some point here in Daggerford, as this is a dire need. This is her putting out a search for people with any given reason to kind of rise. Um, but she is basically calling people to the Sword Coast Traders Bank to see if anyone will take up the quest that she has at hand. And at present, we will have you all be those people who are answering the call. When you are invited into the bank itself, it is very much a beautiful stone constructed building. Anybody with any kind of general experience with construction would recognize very quickly that this building is pretty new. At this given point in Daggerford, which is a very kind of ancient town that's been through destructions and rebuildings, the Sword Coast Adventures Bank being built here in Daggerford is one of their newest locations. Daggerford itself is a larger city as far as things go. By no means in comparison to the city of Splendor is it a large city, but it is quite well designed. It is housed by the Daggerford nobles and a single noble family who kind of rules over this area. But this is a kind of last stop where you can gain access to pretty much anything that you might ever want. Many of the traders who go up and down the tradesway can at any given point be found in the actual marketplace. They have a large temple to Lathander, as well as many other uh, things that you might need access to, including a small library that is um, kind of limited to those of noble and or membership to get in. But going through the city, you all would have access to a lot of different things. So, as far as being here in Daggerford, if there's anything mechanically people are looking for that you don't already have, this is one of those last kind of opportunities where before you are sent off, you might care to acquire those things. But at present, everybody is being summoned to the Traders Bank, where again, walking into this stone kind of marble room, you will be seeing just lines of these kind of gated off booths where people are there to uh, take your money and or exchange money for their safety notes. But in general, you will eventually be kind of brought into a back room, which is a very elaborate red kind of room where there's like silk drapes, uh, red carpeting. It's a very bloody kind of visceral feel. But when you walk in, you'll just see that there is a lady who is sitting on a very comfortable chair, raised above the ground on a bit of a dais, but she is not terribly far over your head, but very clearly showing herself to be already kind of above others. She has jet black hair, probably about 35, 40 years old. She has plenty of stress about her, but she carries herself. She is sitting drinking wine, but not in a kind of relaxed form. She's still very stiff as she sits there and kind of holds a glass of wine in her right hand. And as you all are brought in, one after another, she's not actually going to stand at present. You just see her there in kind of a regal blue that stands out stark against the red. And if I can have you all describe yourselves just as kind of that somebody seeing you from 30 feet away, what do they see? This should include a lot of different things, but it's kind of that first time where if you guys don't have connected backstories together, you'll start to gain an idea of what someone is based on how they kind of carry themselves. So if somebody would like to start, otherwise, I'll just kind of go from top to bottom on the actual voice chat here.
I guess I can give it a start here. And you're looking mainly like physical description, just what they might notice.
Yeah, exactly. So like if I were I play a lot of clerics, so I'm sorry to like steal away that initially from you. But one thing about like if I were to describe one of my most recent clerics, you would see basically that he's a bald man with a really long white beard. He's wearing a very dark kind of charred metal armor, but you see that there's almost glints and dots of light where it seems really, really well polished, and if you inspect closer, you would see that there are 7 points of light that are actually coming out of his black charred armor. He carries a spear in one hand, often with the tip of it glowing an absolute white, bright light, and then a shield that also is kind of a charred black. And you would once again see that there are 7 points of light from the center of the shield. The central point of light is, in fact, a diamond. So that's kind of what I mean. Like it's just that very like initial, if you walk up to somebody, what are you going to notice? Somebody who's carrying weapons, those weapons are among the first things. Somebody who's carrying like heavy armor, those are among the first things. A caster, it might be far more like the actual flowing nature of your robes and the fact that you're not holding weapons. So there's a lot of ways, but it's essentially that kind of like first impression. If somebody sees you and sees that you have weapons, that's probably among the first things that they'll really notice, kind of thing.
Gotcha. I guess I'll give it a go here. So, man walks in. He's about 5'7", very skinny. He's got a long gray goatee. Or one of the main things you notice on him is he has an amulet that he's wearing. Looks pretty red, almost like glows, glints in the light. Um, he is wearing chainmail, but he does not have any weapons in his hand. say that's kind of where I'm going to leave that and start.
Excellent. Great job. Theo, are you prepared where you could describe Simorn to us?
Yeah. My character is a tiefling, and you see someone sitting in the corner, kind of hidden in the shadows of the building, um, playing with their deck of cards and just watching the crowd.
Excellent. And did you have something else to add?
Oh, just that I have, of course, horns because I'm a tiefling, and one of them is broken. I have dark bluish skin, and it's a pretty straight physique and nomadic clothing.
How long is your horn that it's broken, and how long is the horn that's still complete?
The complete horn is 8 inches long, and the broken horn is 3.
Okay, I'm ready to go when I'm up.
Go for it. If you're ready, go for it.
Hector's in another corner of the room, just flipping through a book. The woman notices. Can you help me pronounce it? Kellavamore? So I can get it right each time.
Kellimvor. I don't think there's a proper way to pronounce anything. And this is not a world where you're going to see people with name tags. You can tell us how you pronounce Kellimvor.
Kellavamore. So the woman sees the Kellavamor's holy symbol, which is a skeletal hand holding, these scales of justice. Hector looks a little bit much younger than some of the other druids, and how do I say this? The priests and druids of the Church of Kellanvor. So his pack is below the table. His two short swords, almost long knives, packed away. Noticing not strapped on his hip. He's slim, a little bit grayish hair for being so young. Around 5'8", 5'10", or 5'11", but much slimmer than some of the other warriors and threatening people in the room.
Excellent. Well done.
So this is Ali. I stand not in any of the corners, but more closer to the center of the room. And the first thing that you notice about Ali is one, that he looks like he's from a foreign land because of his bronze skin. But in addition to that, just overall, like his body shows the characteristics of someone who is very accustomed to living outdoors and having to survive. So, he has rough hands, rough features. He wears a dark green cloak. Um, as you can see, it's actually draped around his head. Right now, I don't have my veil up, but you see that there's a veil that hangs from my neck. I carry a short sword on my left side and a quiver on my back. And I'm I'm not looking at the lady, but rather looking around the room and admiring its beauty, especially this being such a new building and being so different from any of the buildings I've seen in my homeland of Zahara. In addition to that, I look towards the other adventurers to try to discern their features and who they might be and what their intentions might be.
Excellent. Well done. And can you describe Debbie for us, Caitlin?
Yeah, so Debbie is a half orc. Um, they're standing. Sorry, I lost you for a second. They're standing also in close proximity in the center of the room with Ollie, sort of tall and brooding, menacing, but at the same time, curiously looking around and somewhat suspiciously at the new surroundings and the woman before them. I have one hand looped around the strap of my backpack. In the other hand, I have my great axe. And then in my belt, I have two hand axes.
When you have a hand loop through your backpack, is that like kind of how a kid like holds like one strap, so you've got like all of the weight on like your hand like that?
Yeah, that works.
All right, cool. No, I'm trying to think what you have in mind, because I feel like the alternative is it looks like you're trying to make sure nobody can steal your backpack.
Yeah, sort of like it's on my back. I just have one like thumb looped through the shoulder.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Word. So as everybody kind of gathers themselves and comes in, you have this just very open hall before you. It sounds like about two of you are kind of in the central area. Most of the others are kind of to the side. And Lady Anteos is going to kind of bring you all forward as she's still kind of a ways away from you until when you're about like 15 or so feet from her. She'll just kind of put up her hand, and you'll hear just kind of the stamp of some guards to the side as they kind of like step out of the shadow. And it's just kind of that little bit of a remark like, that's far enough. Uh, Before eventually she takes a moment to look over everyone. You would see a little bit longer of a pause on both the tiefling as well as the half orc. What color is your skin with the half orc?
Sort of a light purplish gray.
And then you said Sinmorn was like a kind of purplish as well, like a purplish red,
Purplish blue.
purplish blue. Word. So as you all approach, and she kind of moves herself for the first time to signal her guards, and that moment of silence kind of sits as she takes a closer look over all of you. I thank you all greatly for attending my summons. I am in a dire need of those who would put themselves forward, potentially to give your life to save my daughters. I've recently sent her back to Waterdeep, and while she tends to listen to my needs, it seems she strayed, and I have recently lost contact with her. She's gone to the south and apparently gone missing in the misty forest. Do you think you could search her out and bring me back my daughter in one piece?
I think I have a reply here, if I'm good to go.
What thoughts do you have, good sir?
Well, first, I'd like to thank you for summoning us and entrusting us with such a dutiful task. However, outside of these walls, the world is a dangerous place, and I cannot risk my life without compensation.
What compensation would you ask? I fear my own family guards are predisposed. I have only come here from Waterdeep with a small retinue of House Anteos. and my daughter left with the remainder, what I have predominantly here in Daggerford are guards not my own.
Ari steps forward. My lady, I am more than pleased to serve you and find your daughter. I don't know if you know of my reputation, but in Sahara, I spent many days in the desert finding and tracking down people who are lost within the caravans and bringing them back to the cities. I am confident in my abilities to find your daughter. However, I have something to ask myself, for I am trying to seek a way home back to my country of Zahar. If you may help me along my journey and pay me something reasonable so that I'm able to feed myself and clothe myself and continue my journey, that is all I ask.
There are many wishes that I can fulfill for you. Long enough travel is dangerous for any to accomplish. Name your price.
I ask my lady for 50 gold pieces, and may you make a connection to a noble tradesman who may be able to transport me further south to my land of Sahar.
50 gold pieces may be an acceptable bounty. It is certainly perfectly viable to pay, and I know for many reasons we can certainly transfer you plenty far south. Much of it will still be a gamble.
Anything is better than being here, stuck in a land that is not my home.
So Hector steps forward. Well, it seems, Hector almost seeming a little disinterested but intrigued at the same time, that this rescue mission is going to need some support. Um, my skills in healing as well. Your daughter could be hurt as well as people in the Misty Forest. So, um, you know, as a uh, as a death clergy, I would like to lend in return for returning your daughter. I would like a promotion to be a death clergy in your lands, potentially a doom guide to continue my service of the god of Kelenvor. Do you have an opening in your court?
While you certainly have a noble cause behind you, I am afraid that perhaps you mistake what it is that I am. Lady Morwyn of Daggerford is the only true noble in this city. My family is but one of the noble houses of Waterdeep, and it is here that I run the bank. That is little else that I do.
I'll settle with an intro to a court.
If a discussion with Lady Morwyn is what you look for, I do not think there is any reason To say anything other than, it would be my pleasure.
Sinmorn steps forward and asks that I would like all of my debt forgiven and my name cleared, and 30 gold pieces. I have the network like you wouldn't believe, and I think that I can help track down your daughter.
Who holds your debt?
Capital Bank.
How extensive is your debt?
$150 gold pieces. I haven't been able to pay in over a year.
While you ask for a heavy enough bounty, it would not necessarily be impossible to make things happen. But perhaps we may find ourselves more in line to take out my competitor than to transfer our funds into their coffers. So perhaps the bounty that you ask is gold in your pocket and more time in my service, where we working together can bring down the competitors of the Sword Coast Traitors Bank.
I can help with that.
And just kind of swirling her wine glass around, she'll lock eyes with Debbie. And what could possibly interest one of your kind?
I will help you in this search. I only ask for a little 50 gold pieces to help me in my own travels. And a vehicle to travel on.
I can send you on your way in such accommodations if you are to bring my daughter back. But the horses will have to be of your own providing.
It seems a fair enough trade to me.
Well, and she'll look back over to Renmian. With everyone else having decided, have you come to terms with what it would cost for your skills?
Sorry, that was for me.
I didn't actually catch who was speaking there, but to Renman, Tony? Yep.
So I have a skill to create some of the best armor and weapons. I have been unable to find the funding to create a forge. I would like you to become an investor in my forge and have your endorsement to send everyone that needs weapons or armor to me. And I'm willing to go 60-40 with your investment to start my forge.
We are still but a small player in the game of Waterdeep. But perhaps you would find yourself happy enough working for House Anteos? And if a forge is all you ask, I don't believe that would be difficult to find yourself relatively employed, and perhaps one day on your own.
I would be honored to work for your house, and I have no ties to Waterdeep.
If you are looking for our name to carry weight, you'll have to attend Waterdeep, as my family is still just a minor speck in Daggerford. And as much as I can keep out of this place, it is my goal not to be here, and to return to the niceties of the City of Splendor. But I will have a scribe draw up a contract for you all to be well rewarded, as we have discussed. And for now, sent on your way with a few of my men to guide you, that perhaps you can find where it is that the hunters last saw signs of my daughter. Is there anything you require before you depart Daggerford?
My lady, I would like to ask before we leave that I may acquire more arrows for my bow.
I'm sure you will have no trouble finding a Fletcher out in the marketplace. That should have next to no challenge for you to arrive at. Anyone else lacking for anything at all?
Well, in addition to that, my lady, I ask that you may put may compensate me with part of my bounty up front so that we may pay for some of these goods, such as the arrows and rations for our travel.
And yet you've accomplished nothing for me yet.
This is true, but I ask that you have faith in me, my lady, for I will make sure that we find your daughter. But I also require these things in order to travel. One to two gold pieces should be sufficient.
Let it be so. And she'll just kind of raise her hand, her right hand, setting down her wine glass, and a person from behind is just going to set a little pouch of coins into her hand, and she will toss it out into the center of you all, and it's just a little leather satchel that's kind of sitting on the ground before you. That should be sufficient. Now,
Thank you, my lady. I will not let you down.
one of the hunters, I am told, is already in the veranda. If you head outside, you should see Nafel outside, and they will be able to guide you towards the misty forest and on your way.
I'm going to go into the center room and grab this bag of gold.
Good call.
I shall hold on to this and divide it as we come out onto the streets.
Make a perception check for me, Allie. As you lift it, weighs about a pound. There's probably about 50 coins inside of there.
Nice. I slip the pouch just underneath my my garment, and there I have just something to grab hold of it, and that's on the right hand side, on the other side from my sword. Shall we be off then? And I just start walking towards the entryway.
We should grab herbs and potions as well if we need to heal any injuries on the road. Is that something we can find in Daggerford?
Well, I should hope so.
Yeah, let's venture into the marketplace and see what we can find.
Good idea.
Really quickly, Mara, how do we pull up the map of Daggerford?
Right now, it's just a handout. So it is under the journal, which should be second to the left on that left side of the screen. And then way down at the bottom, you should see handouts. And you'll see the party loot list. You can put in that was 50 gold there. If you all would like, while you were in Daggerford, you can effectively buy anything from the PHB at this point, so you can certainly buy more arrows. If you are looking for a healing potion, you can certainly purchase a healing potion. If you all pool gold together, you might be able to purchase multiple healing potions.
So what's the team thinking here for purchase? You want to pool or divide? My vote's pool.
Well, as the paladin, I hope to help everyone out with healing later on. That's what I was asking. So I'm happy to be in charge of the healing potions and use both my healing spells and potions to assist.
When
I'm also down if we want to, I guess, give everybody like 1 to 2 gold pieces, and then the rest of it kind of use for buying potions or something that's a little bit more expensive. But at least like those 1 to 2 gold coins and stuff like that should help us buy any kind of like armor or rations that we might need. Or at the same time, yeah, probably.
a healing potion is 50 gold. So that is the bag of coins to purchase one. And then another suggestion for you is when you have healers, they don't need to carry a healing potion. They need other people who can't heal to carry the healing potion to heal the healer if the healer goes down.
Really quickly, where can we see like the price of items and stuff like that?
So like if you don't have a physical player's handbook, that's just one of those things that if you go onto D&D Beyond and you look up the sources, the player's handbook.
Okay, will that just be within equipment, or are we underneath expenses?
Underneath what? I feel like it's just going to be the equipment.
Okay, yeah, I see it here.
Like you'll see, yeah. Expenses is just like daily stuff. That stuff you're welcome to spend, but I will almost never actually charge you that kind of thing. But it effectively comes out to those things that are going to be under the armor and shields, weapons, adventuring gear, and tools. So like most of the time where you find a shop, adventuring gear is all that is going to be available. Part of what Daggerford is, though, as a tradeway, that's the type of place where 100%, if you wanted to switch your armor, you could purchase different armor. If you wanted to get different weapons, you can definitely get different weapons. Not all places have that availability because they are not that high of technology. Daggerford is just one of those, like, you are kind of coming out of a wilderness in between Dragonspear Castle and Waterdeep, and Daggerford is the place.
Okay, and how many gold? I'm sure I can try and look this, but how many gold coins do we usually start off on our person before this 50-piece gold is involved?
Everybody will be different based on your background more than anything at all.
Does everybody know how to get to the player's handbook and everything and see items and stuff like that?
I'm loading it up on a PFD just online. It's just still being a little slow.
Yeah, you can also go within D&D Beyond, and if you go to our campaign, you should see at the top of like the campaign page, it says like shared resources or something like that, and you can click manage resources, and that shows you like a list. But we should also have access to the player's handbook within our shared resources. So you can pull it up directly within D&D Beyond. All right. Sorry, Mara, you said that the hunter that we were supposed to meet up was just in the entryway.
Yeah, effectively, when you all are ready to go, you can go out and see them.
Okay, that sounds good. So if we want to go buy stuff, we just circle back around and come to them.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, I don't tend to have any interest in doing shopping stuff. So, like, if you all want to shop, you can kind of define how much you want to go into it. In general, I will almost always say just purchase what you're looking to purchase or ask me what you were looking for, kind of thing. In general, again, like, the game is far more a lot of other things than like shopping adventures. So that's just kind of where I will focus thing. I would much rather get right back to the role play than to be random vendors and like make a day out of searching so you can get basic things.
Got yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would just like to spend 1 gold piece on just some additional arrows.
Yeah, so as far as the arrows go, I mean, when you have stuff already on you and you're just replenishing it, you don't even have to look up the arrows. They will tell you their cost, and you can basically just increase it and then subtract that from what you have. Hector, I'm not sure why, but you have a few things that are off right now. You may want to adjust your stats because you are currently encumbered weight wise because strength is your dump stat right now. And you can't actually wear your armor. And then you also don't have your starting gold from your class, or from your background, but that's just kind of minor.
Okay, so I need to add some starting golds, and then I should take something heavy off or kind of drop it.
No. If you reload your character, I added your starting gold. I'm saying I feel like you might want to adjust your strength because you cannot wear chainmail. And strength, if you had any, would also make it so you can carry everything that you are carrying. But right now, you either have to drop weight or change your armor entirely.
Okay, so could I just change my skill from adding on? I think I added to Constitution and throw it into Strength instead for my race ability.
It's still not going to get you to the 13 strength to wear your armor, but that will give you enough strength to carry everything that you are carrying. But chainmail needs 13 strength. Right now, you have 9.
So can I just dump intelligence instead, keep high wisdom, and then switch intelligence and strength?
That would work.
All right, let's do that to keep it moving quick and easy here. Am I editing that in D&D Beyond, correct?
Yep.
And just really quickly, so I know I did this right, Mara, I added a set of arrows, and then I just subtracted one from my currency.
Yep.
All right, cool.
So as you all walk out of the inner area, you will eventually see someone who is standing a little bit under 6 feet tall, wearing a dark green hooded cloak with the hood cast down. They have kind of black and gray, kind of like peppered white hair, long beard, but it seems to be kind of like almost like tucked kind of backward a little bit to keep it out of all of the like leather straps and things that kind of cross over their actual chest area. Person seems to be wearing some dark brown leather armor and otherwise carries a quiver along their right leg. And then they have a bow kind of thrown over their chest as well. And the actual um, bow itself kind of crosses their back. But the person will meet you all and kind of sees pretty quickly that you are among those who don't really look like the folks who are here to be banking, and kind of looking over you all for a moment. Are you the ones Lady Belinda has brought in? And he's going to reach out his hand. Knife sell.
I'll walk up and shake his hand. Ali.
Excellent. It's good to meet you all. Are you all ready to put out? And I can show you where I found the pendant along the misty forest.
Yeah. Lead the way.
Yeah, I'm ready. I just found out the starting gold section, so just roughly what's a good starting gold? Guess it depends a lot on my background, but just to throw something in there, put 130.
No, if you reload your character, I already added it. It's 15 gold.
Okay.
Really quickly, you said the character's name is Mycel, the NPC.
Knife sal? Think knife sale.
Got you, thanks.
And again, I will almost always say names. You guys can spell them however you would like, and you can repeat them back to me however you would like. Think of language as one of those things that, unless you're going into in depth to like meet somebody, you're never really gonna know their name. So as you all kind of step out in this experience and eventually leave the Trader's Bank behind you, the sounds of the city are going to pick up. There's certainly a level of a hustle and bustle going on. There's a lot of interesting smells inside of Daggerford, as it is a very central cultural um, combination along the tradeway here. And with a little bit of understanding that you all need some things from the market, Knifesell can guide you through there and eventually just kind of point off towards one of the gates, and he'll just say, I'll meet you at that next gate. And if everybody's already picked up what they need, we can start to head out of Daggerford, and he will walk you along the tradesway for some time.
I'm ready to go. You guys are. Say, let's begin.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
All right, do we try and buy that potion, or we just head out and let's get moving?
I'm against buying the potion just because it's kind of hefty.
All right, save it. Let's go. Let's move on.
I think I still need Sinmore to roll a d8 for your hit points. So we are going to head along the tradesway to the south. Probably about every hour or so, you see sizable caravans passing by, more often going to the north at this point. And they all seem to have plenty of guards who are traveling about them. That would definitely give you a sense that this is still an unsafe place, despite almost being inside of society. And as you kind of walk away from Daggerford and leave it behind you, the sounds of the river Delimbier starts to fade, and you start to hear some more of the sounds of animal life as you approach the misty forest. And that would probably be edging on towards the evening and the sunset, and eventually kind of coming to the outskirts, uh, heading off kind of northeast away from the tradesway. Knife Sail will start to guide you over towards the forest, and you'll see kind of the last few moments. He's going to look about. This is not the best time to be entering the forest, but it is not too much further within that we found the pendant. We should be quick.
Let's make haste then. Show us where you found the pendant.
So he's going to start to kind of tracking more along the ground than much else. You'll see as they start to follow a little bit of a beaten trail into the misty forest, until after some time you all are well within the forest. Darkness is pretty much all around you all, and there's plenty of signs of why it's called the Misty Forest, as even before the darkness kind of starts to sink in, there's a continual fog that kind of sits just at the edge of your vision, and it's one of those things where it's hard to tell whether the light is losing out to the fog or if the fog is consuming the light. And there's just kind of a uh, feeling of being pulled in and squeezed tight. It feels almost like the trees are getting closer and closer together before eventually you will find yourselves within a bit of a clearing. And Knifesail will kind of look around for a moment before pointing out an area where they once burned a fire. And he'll basically explain, this is where we made camp. And as he kind of looks around, just to the east of the camp, you'll see a fallen tree. And he points out, and we found the pendant hanging from the tree just here. And he will point out that the pendant was just on the edge of this tree off to the west of this little camp. You all should see it's kind of central northwest on this map, where you have vision. Everything else right now should be black. Although it didn't change for my bot. Do you guys see like a forested map right now?
I see it.
I see a forest clearing and then kind of black. It's kind of a circle, but there's black blocking out lots of different parts of the trees.
Yep, I'm not sure. My bot just seems to be frozen.
Yeah, I see what Brendan sees as well.
Should we set up a watch for our crew?
I would like to actually do a little bit of investigating while we still have a little bit of light, and I might be able to make out possibly a trail or something like that.
Roll an investigation check.
Investigation.
Yep.
Sorry, not sure why I rolled twice.
So as you look around, you can spot that the most recent footprints in this area are about 2 days old at this point. Looking around, there doesn't give you a whole lot to work on, because as you take some time to look it over, looks pretty similar to the same kind of culture and style of shoes that Knifesail is wearing, that perhaps the only tracks remaining here are actually from the people who found the pendant.
Damn, I cannot make out a thing.
Is it safe to light a torch so we can see more clearly?
Marcel, do you have any idea how much time we might have before nightfall?
You guys are in Nightfall. You got to the Misty Forest at Nightfall. That's part of what I was explaining getting here.
Sorry about that. Do you guys think we should set up camp?
I believe we should set up camp. Hector says we should set up camp and watch. Obviously, this forest has taken this lady. We don't want it to take us.
Agreed.
I'll keep watch.
I'll get second shift.
All right, I'll do third shift, then maybe one more for the morning break.
I'll take the last shift.
So I feel like Ali would be the one who can double up, if I heard that correctly.
Not me. I was going to save my energy for the morning since I'll be tracking.
That was Rin mine.
No. So to describe how the mechanics of watches work, when you sleep, you need to sleep for 8 hours. But you can do nothing for 2 of those hours and not actually sleep. So when you go on watch, if you watch for no more than 2 hours, you can still take your long rest for 8 hours. So when I say Ali is the one who can double up, it sounded like to me that Debbie was going to take first watch, which would be 2 hours. Sinmorn would be the second watch for 2 hours, and I think Hector for 2 hours, and then Renmin for 2 hours. That gives you all a long rest, but Ali can double up with anybody to increase a bit of safety.
Got you. Yeah, I'm more than happy to, I guess, jump in at least the first or second watch, since that's probably when it'll be getting the darkest and deepest into the night.
Do first watch.
Sounds good.
So if everybody can take their counter, if you click on your name from the player's character section there, and you drag your name out onto the board and then drop it next to that fire, you should see your token on the map. Anybody who is wearing I feel like it's medium and heavy armor will have to take off your armor when you are sleeping. While you are on watch, you can take the time to put it back on. Otherwise, people in no armor or light armor can also sleep inside of their armor. And you only have to take it off when people complain that you smell absolutely terrible.
I would like to actually, if I can, just be able to hide myself. If I don't know if I have to do a stealth roll or anything like that, but I'd like to hide myself and just kind of watch over the camp just in case anybody tries to ambush me. I can get the jump on them.
Yeah, while you're on watch, if you would like, you most certainly can.
Hide myself close to that tree that I was doing the investigation with, and kind of just blend myself into the shrubbery and stuff around it.
Yeah, I'll be the decoy.
I guess I'll sleep near the ambush as the second decoy.
Theo, do you have is that picture from, was it on D&D Beyond, I feel like? Is that who you imagine your character as?
Yes.
If you can drop that picture into that token stamp that I just posted to the chat, and then go back in, and if you edit where it says Theo under the characters, drop the actual PNG into the avatar there, that will give you a token that you can drop on the page here. Oh my god, I just got the ramen noodle.
It was auto-generated too.
I feel like that makes it so much better too.
That's what I was thinking. It was right on top. I was like, how can I pass up ramen noodle?
I did not make that connection at all.
I didn't either. That's hilarious.
As soon as I saw the last name there, because I will almost never really look too deep into last names, but it looked like the actual noodle before I even noticed that that's an I anyways. So first watch is going to be with Debbie and Ali.
Ali,
All right, Ali, I need a stealth check from you, and then let's get a perception check from both of you.
Did you just roll that perception, Rodney?
I did. If you look in the chat, it'll show you who rolled within roll 20. That is.
Okay, I clicked mine at the same time and I was like, wait, that was me, but I guess it didn't go through.
Sometime it does get like lost in the void, and it takes a while. Did it roll on D&D Beyond? Yeah, it looks like it just rolled on D&D Beyond.
Yeah, the first time it rolled an 11. I just did it again. It was a 4.
Gotcha. Yeah, so sometimes D&D Beyond is working on making their own VTT, their virtual tabletop. So at times it's definitely problematic. I don't know all of the best solutions for it, but it might help to turn off the dice roller on D&D Beyond. But for what it's worth, when it does that, just let me know what you roll, especially when it like takes forever. But I feel like at some point we might see your rolls show up, and it's just kind of like lost in the ether right now. But for right now, the first hour of your watch goes by pretty seamlessly. At times, you have a relatively good sensation for where it is that Ali is in that tree that he's off over there. But overall, kind of just that eerie sounds of the forest. As long as you're hearing stuff, it reconfirms that at least things are relatively normal here. On some level, you almost expect a bit of silence before anything would be at its worst. And then everything seems all right. But when you two are ready, let me get another round of perceptions and then another stealth from Ali as well.
So how do I roll if I've turned off the virtual dice rolling on D&D Beyond?
Well, I mean, it should still be sending your dice over with Beyond 20. That's everything that Beyond 20 does. So, like,
Sorry, I
when
didn't
you're
mean to roll a survival.
all good, when you're going to roll that perception, if you just go to where it's shows like perception in your skills, there should just be a red die, and that red polyhedron is effectively the Beyond 20 app looking at your character. And if Beyond 20 is not working, sometimes it is good practice to click the red B either at the chat level in the bottom right of Roll20 or just inside of your extensions in the top right of your browser. But I'm sharing my screen. Do you see where I've got my pointer over your perception on Debbie?
Yeah, I see that. So yeah, when I'm hovering over it, I don't get that that die, but
Do you have Beyond 20 installed on that browser?
yeah. I mean, so I see I can roll when the virtual dice or whatever is turned on. Once I turn that off, it just um it's just the bonus number with nothing really like clickable.
Oh, part of why I say it like that though is Beyond 20 is separate from D&D Beyond, and that red die in particular is Beyond 20 interacting with D&D Beyond.
Okay, hold on one second.
Just curious, Mara, if we do run into issues with D&D Beyond and stuff like that, are you okay with us just using the command within Roll20 and then adding whatever the bonus is for that specific thing?
In general, yes, but part of the first kind of sessions like this is definitely trying to get stuff seamlessly operating correctly. But part of why I like D&D Beyond is because it allows you to save PDFs so you can effectively play paper and pencil, even if we're doing it online.
Okay, good to know.
Apologies. I had installed it the last week that we talked, and I think I don't know where it went, but I'm installing the plugin right now again.
I gotcha. It could be just using a different browser too. It could be a lot of different things, but I was gonna say, like, I felt like I saw stuff from Debbie, because you were the last person to roll before we finished session 0.
Yeah, it was definitely on last week, but yeah, one second.
Could be like you change Chrome profiles or something from work to personal.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about like the profiles. I was definitely thinking Firefox or Chrome, or just someone else.
I think that's exactly what it is.
So while you're getting that set, Ali rolled high enough that everything kind of can function perfectly fine here. As you all are resting, the two of you keeping your watch, I can decide if Debbie fell asleep or not based on how low you or how high you roll. But as you all are here and Ali's keeping watch, you're going to start to hear sounds coming out of the woods. And it's very quickly going to sound like there are wolves approaching.
I guess I'll wait for Caitlin, but if Caitlin rolls too low, then I'm gonna probably just run into the group and wake them up. And well, two things. I'm gonna probably just grab out an arrow and kind of have that ready, and then go and wake up the group.
What are you doing to wake up the group members?
So I run into the circle and just start tapping them. With the end of the not the sharp side of the arrow, but the other side of the arrow, kind of just like tickling them and just tapping them kind of on the forehead to wake them up. And I say, "Wake up! Wake up! There's wolves nearby." Or at least I wake up Caitlin as she's asleep. Oh, it looks like Caitlin rolled.
Yeah,
Okay,
14 is
yeah,
definitely
just
not
got it
sleeping.
working. So
So you're
So-
going to
So since Caitlin's not asleep, and I know that she's awake, at least I can kind of tell that she's moving around and stuff like that. Rather than going into camp and waking everybody up, since she's closer, I kind of just defer that to her. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and knock a bow in my bow and arrow. Knock an arrow in my bow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm much clumsier in waking everybody up, tripping over Hector, but shushing everybody, but letting them know there's wolves.
so you're just kind of kicking everybody away.
Yeah, good kick.
Who are you going to first?
Oh, well, it looks like I'm closest to, I'm sorry, I can't remember the NPC's name, but, yeah, what was their name again?
The black one is Nefsail, and he's basically just like leaned up against the log.
All right, so I give Nisail a quick jab to the knee, tell him to wake up, and let him know there's wolves.
He'll look up at you in a start, and then as his senses kind of come to, damn this forest.
So then I scurry on over sorry, I'm trying to figure out whose picture's who still, but
Looks like Renmin is to your east, and then Hector is to the north.
all right, I go over to Renman, tell him to wake up as well, and tell him to wake up the others.
So I'm gonna go over and wake up Hector, and I'm gonna kick his feet. And then I want to light my torch.
Do I have to roll to wake up?
They are fully kicking you. That is perfectly functional.
Jilt awake and hear these wolves with my fine sense of hearing. And finally, something interesting on this trip. I pull out my two swords from my pack.
Is anybody gonna wake up Theo, or are you just gonna let them sleep?
No, I'm awake.
Okay.
I hear the ruckus and I get up.
Why are you awake? I don't think anybody woke you up.
I'm a light sleeper.
Roll a perception check. Disadvantage. Like, this is for your group to wake you up. That's the whole point of this. Someone asking, did anybody wake up Theo or Sinmorn, is the perfect thing to come to terms with.
I rolled a 1 with disadvantage.
Definitely still sleeping.
Light sleeper, eh?
So, if I can have everybody click on your token, and then on D&D Beyond, click Initiative, and that should roll initiative and add you into the turn order.
And Theo, I just sent you the fixed cropped image. I forgot to do it in the first one.
Sorry, Mara, where did you say to get that from? Is that on the D&D Beyond?
Get what?
Was that roll on D&D Beyond?
Yeah, like all of your rolls are going to be from your character sheet on D&D Beyond. So if you click on your character token on the map and then go over to D&D Beyond next to your armor, you'll see initiative. And if you just click on the initiative right there. So like Ali, if you ever like roll and don't actually have it already clicked, just let me know. Right now I don't have a whole lot of creatures, so it's not like a bunch of combat that I'm setting up.
Got yeah. Sorry, I had it on the pan view, so when I went to click, it didn't select.
Debbie, you don't have advantage on initiative yet, right? I feel like that's a later skill.
I know one thing that was happening to me is it was rolling 2, but just because I think the way I had D&D Beyond set, if you hold down Alt or Option before you actually do your roll, it'll just do a normal roll as opposed to an advantage roll.
Well, the always roll twice is what I want it to be. That's not necessarily advantage or disadvantage.
Oh, got you. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, the actual double roll is where, like, Debbie rolled twice, Raymond rolled 3 times, but in the long run, it's always the first roll regardless. It's not a big deal if extra rolls come through.
Okay.
Debbie, what's your dexterity? And Hector, what's your dexterity?
Sorry, were you asking Hector?
Never mind, I actually see, but yeah.
Sorry, repeat the question, please.
It's all good. I got it. I was asking for your dexterity. You and Debbie rolled the same time, so whoever's quicker acts first.
So Ali, I'm still a little groggy, Hector says. What do you see out there?
If I can, I would like to listen to see if I can discern about how far these wolves might be.
Sinmorn, can you roll your initiative? What's your dexterity?
+3.
All right. So at this point, if you would like to spend time listening further, Ali, you can do so and do another perception check. But that's going to be part of your actual action, is that you are focused listening. At present, you understand that these wolves are coming, and they're coming from the south.
No, thank you then.
So, what would you like to do?
As my action, I would just like to get ready and just for what might be coming.
So, if you'd like to ready your action, you can have your arrow knocked and do something like shoot at the first target that presents itself.
Sounds good.
So, when it is not your turn, it's basically your reaction to do your readied action. And when you have that trigger that starts your reaction, that's what it takes to do it. That's usually kind of the simplest way to say it. There's other ways to kind of do it if you want to make sure that it's somebody showing hostility and whatnot. When it's wolves and animals, it's really easy to say a wolf is a predator. The first thing that I see that's a predator, I'm going to kill. So the first presented target.
Okay, so I would like to ready. So I ready my bow. I knock an arrow and pull it back, and I just prepare myself to shoot the first target that presents itself. That's a foreign predator or beast.
Theo, as you are, or Sinmorn, as you are being woken up, what would you like to do?
Um, I groggily reach, hearing the chaos, I groggily reach for my long sword and try to stumble behind some trees to guard myself and give myself time to wake up before the wolves come.
So you have the tree to the north of you that you could kind of drop into. There is a large tree stump to the west of you, about 15, 20 feet. Or you have another tree that's kind of northwest of you. The sound of the wolves again is coming from the south.
I will go to the northwest tree, and if it has any lower branches, I'll opt for climbing instead of hunching down behind.
Gotcha. So you can move yourself towards that tree. And you can do a strength check.
A 3?
Definitely not even going to climb up the tree. I'm just going to like reach up into the tree and just snap off a branch.
Is it sharp enough to use as something to stab, or is it like thick enough?
I mean, you can surely try to improvise a weapon out of it. But you said you had a longsword?
I want to be double fist in the weapons.
I mean, I think as anybody who's carrying a longsword, you know that the longsword is a far more efficient weapon than a broken off, like, stump of a tree.
All right, then I just drop the branch and I wait.
So a wolf is going to run out from the southeast, and it is going to leap out at Debbie.
All right. Debbie's abandoned her great
Wait, no,
axe.
my bad, my bad. That's for Ali that I was saying it.
Okay, so I was going to say with my reaction, I can shoot at it before it gets to her, right?
Yep.
That's what I'll do. I let loose an arrow directly at the wolf that's running towards her.
As you shoot out at it, it seems to kind of flow right through the wolf's hair, and you see it just stab into the ground beyond the wolf without even a yipe.
Damn.
Another one is going to run out from the south and leap out at Hector. And Hector, what are you doing?
I've had my two short swords, almost like knives, ready to go. One in front of me, one at my back, ready to spin and attack. And I take both and slash right at the wolf's nose. My left sword coming left to right, and my right sword coming from around my back. And what should I be rolling for here?
If you click to the left of your first short sword, and then there's another one that will be in bonus actions that is your offhand short sword. But just roll the first one. I don't think there's any reason to delay the second one right away. But in general, when you have multiple attacks, I would say hold off on them.
really quick, Mara, being that like I shot that arrow and then I was ready, that gave me an advantage, right? I guess what I'm asking is I'm just curious, can we infer that the wolf, at least one of them might have an armor class greater than 16?
You are not hidden from the wolf. They are hunters with keen senses.
So even though I was stealth and I guess ready.
Yeah, something that can smell you isn't necessarily going to be surprised from attacks.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Okay, Athustra, can you just guide me generally, talk me through? I'm on the character sheet where my longsword would be to trigger that roll.
Either under your actions, you should, and it shouldn't be a long sword right now. You should be looking for short swords. If you're doing 2-weapon fighting, you need 2 light weapons.
Yep.
But it should just be under actions. That was the start of it. If you click on the left side of it, where it's just like 2 cross swords, that should roll it with the damage too. But for that one, just roll the actual pink there.
Okay, so I now see the.
Or no, my bad. I said the wrong word there. Click the actual pink in roll 20 because that will roll the damage right now. But in general, you want to roll like on the left side of the name, and that's going to roll the attack as well as the damage. Yeah, so we can take that 11 or the 10 there.
Okay, do you have all the rolls you need?
So it's going to look severely bloodied from that first hit. If you scroll down, you should see your second short sword as a bonus action. Oh,
I
you
am
don't have it
searching for
equipped
that.
yet. 1 second. Try reloading your character and see now. You should have the second one as a bonus action. But regardless, technically speaking, I would take that 11 anyways because it's still a roll, but it's different damage how it plays out. That's good. So that wolf is severely wounded, and you can tell from you were going for the snout. Like with the first cut, you almost like cleared up past its ears, and then the second one, you've kind of opened up down to its spine. That creature is really, really messed up right now, and you can see the bones of its spinal cord. And it's going to go to Debbie.
All right, so I have my great axe in my hands and just going to go for one big sweeping motion, hoping that I get something with it.
So sweeping out for it, it's just leaping out at you, and it just kind of is a little bit below your blade as it kind of crouches for its leap. Do you have any interest in moving? I don't think you'll have a bonus action right now.
Sorry, what do you mean by moving?
Oh, just in case you wanted to. I will almost always skip any like rest of your turn to move on. So if you guys want to move, you can always kind of move afterwards. But effectively, it would be if you wanted to go anywhere else. But you're all good there.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I'll move on.
Another wolf is running out of the south, and it is leaping up into the tree, clawing its way towards Ali. And it's going to go to Raymond.
All right, so I'm going to. I have my mace in my hand. Forgot to mention when I woke up earlier, and I'm gonna go towards the wolf that is near Debbie. I'm gonna swing at that wolf. Did my roll come through?
Yeah, my bad. I was fixing Sin one. Yeah, so as you swing at it, that creature's leaping up towards Debbie, and your swing's just gonna go low, kind of just missing its paws as it's leaping up into the air. Any bonus action from you? Otherwise, it's going to Ali.
I don't think a bonus action. Let me see. It says spell Searing Smite, but I don't believe that applies.
Yeah, you can like precast the Searing Smite, and then you kind of want to go for it. But I feel like Searing Smite is a concentration. So if you wanted to, you could cast it, and then next turn it would apply.
Then I would like to cast Searing Smite.
So just click it, and that should burn the spell slot. And then it'll be on Ali.
All right. So I put away my quickly throw my longbow around me and pull out my short sword, jumping down from the tree.
So as far as like the action that it takes to do that, you can drop your bow and pull a sword, but putting away your bow is going to take like your free action, and you're going to start to use actions to pull a weapon. Wolves don't pick up bows though, so if you drop it, it's just going to be there waiting for you. You're also going to be limited to one of those short swords. So dropping the bow, you can take a short sword slash with it right now.
Okay, but my second short sword I can't draw until the next turn, right?
Exactly. There's a feat that allows you to pull two weapons with a single free action like that.
Ah, good to know.
So yeah, as that wolf's leaping up into the tree and kind of scratching at the fibers of the bark to get up at you, you will be able to kind of drop your bow to the side and slash down at it with a sword and open up its chest. And it will be bloodied after that first strike.
And then with my remaining movement, I would actually like to actually kind of retreat away from the wolf, going further back to the, what is that, the northeast, 20 feet or 25 feet. Can I actually go into this darkness?
I mean, you can go places where you can't see, yes.
Okay.
But the light of the fire is what you all can see right now.
So even in the darkness, though, I would be able to see, everything that's lit up.
I don't disagree. As you move away from it, the wolf is going to bite out at you, and it will have a 13 to hit. That is going to miss at your heels. Theo, what would you like to do?
Which wolf is closest to me now?
Directly to the southeast, there's one that is bloodied.
Are there any that are currently attacking or are they all dead?
There's three wolves right now. One's attacking Hector, one's attacking like Ali in front of you, and then another one's attacking Debbie.
Okay, I'm gonna help out Ali, and I'm going to run to attack the wolf.
Are you rolling that attack? What did you get?
11.
As you swing out at it, it's dropping out of the tree and just kind of swing directly over its head, just barely missing it. Anything else from you?
No.
All right. So to the southwest of Debbie, the wolf is going to bite out at her again. And this time with an extremely solid bite. It is going to start to chomp into her. And it's going to do 15 damage to Debbie. I think anybody else that's close to a kill.
All right. Well, I rip my arm, whatever limb is in the wolf's mouth from me. I look behind me and I see the fire. I leap behind the fire, hoping that the wolf will follow me in and do some damage to itself. But in the meantime, I swing my great axe,
Give me a
hoping
second.
it'll
It's
go.
not on you yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, every time.
The next one is going to turn, and it is stepping away from Hector, and it is going to bite out at Debbie. But Hector, you have an attack of opportunity as it leaves you. Are you there, Hector? Swing a short sword at it.
Sorry, yeah. So the wolf around the fire, the injured wolf went down to the fire, and then what's happening with the wolf just to the other side by the tree?
The wolf that you were fighting has run away from you, and when it runs away from you, it's leaving itself vulnerable. You have an attack of opportunity. It is not currently your turn yet, though. Kill the wolf before it can get to Debbie and potentially kill her.
Can I
Just
take?
to swing.
I can roll
One,
for a swing.
Yep, one attack with a short sword. Solid strike, and that wolf had 3 hit points. As it runs away from you, its corpse is going to fall down at Debbie's feet, and then it is Hector's turn. So you've got the one oh actually, Debbie, I need a strength saving throw from you as well. Yeah, so there is a wolf that is latched onto Debbie's leg, and you can see that it's bit into her thigh and has opened up her femoral artery. She is bleeding horrendously. She's still standing tall, was not able to drag her to the ground. You were able to take out the wolf that was going after that smell of blood, and then there's another wolf that Sinmorn is fighting just to the north of you. What would Hector like to do?
I'd like to attack the wolf to the north of me.
Gotcha. So close that distance, and then you've got your first short sword attack, and then under the bonus actions, you should see your offhand short sword.
So I lunge, and what I want to do is pin the wolf against the tree with my short sword. So I roll.
It's able to move out of the way as it's trying to bite into the tiefling before you.
Okay, and I swing back with my right hand again behind my back.
And it seems to be in a little bit of a fury that it's just moving a little bit too quick for you. And you are welcome to move anymore if you'd like to. Otherwise, it's going to be on Debbie.
All right, I give my axe one last swing while I'm just bleeding profusely from the leg.
Solid strike. Just like stabbing into the wolf, you're drawing blood. It is by no means severely injured. It seems to be a good flesh wound to a large chunk of muscle, like in the butt. The wolf between Sinmorn and Hector is going to run to the south as well. And both of you will have attacks of opportunity as it leaves your range.
Okay, should I roll one sword?
Yep. With that attack, you are going to severely wound the wolf. You'll see as one of its legs is barely holding on to any sinew, as it basically runs down to her with 3 legs. And Sinmorn?
I'm going to let it retreat. I'm not going to go chase after it.
Do you want an attack of opportunity as it leaves your side?
Nah.
All right, it's going to run down and bite into Debbie.
Oh shit, that's where I was going? Never mind.
It's too late now. It is
Damn
going
it!
to hit,
Poor Caitlin.
and it's
Right,
going to
sorry.
do 4 damage to you, which I believe will knock you unconscious, and you're going to stand right back up. So as you go down, you will drop your great axe, but as you stand back up, you are still conscious. This is just one of those things where on some level your free action will be to either draw that great axe off the ground or start drawing your hand axes going for another weapon. Um, Actually, does your orc ability, I don't think you actually go unconscious. It might prevent you where you actually still have your great axe. But regardless, it is going to go to Raymond here. Each of these wolves are. Oh, wait, no. The wolf to the northeast of you is severely bloodied, east of Debbie, and the other one seems to have just a flesh wound.
I'm never being the decoy again.
Not a bad
We
idea.
owe you one, Caitlin.
Especially for beasts, all those d6 that you see me rolling are a lot of who they're determining who they're attacking. So it's purely the dice right now that have just said, hey, that barbarian looks tasty.
The dice never lie.
Always told that truth to me. What do you have in mind here, Eamon? Oh shit, I need another strength saving throw from Debbie, though. Should be a pretty low DC for a barb, but... Crushing! Just a fucking beast just standing there, unmovable. I don't know if we lost Tony here.
No, I think he's still here.
Gotcha. You have a opportunity to attack either a wolf that is severely wounded to your northeast, or a wolf that is looking pretty healthy off to your west. What would you like to do? Right now, all three wolves have basically converged on Debbie, and the last of them has just been killed off to the north of her.
I would like to attack the wounded wolf to the east, I believe you said.
Yep.
And I'm going to swing at it with my mace. Now, do I need to do anything to account for the Searing Smite or no?
I'm pretty sure as long as you have the Searing Smite by concentration, once you hit, that's when it will add that damage. So for now, nothing special. With that in mind, though, it might be a good time to attack the fresher one, but I also think that always killing stuff is the smarter idea. It's just kind of more unfortunate that you have Searing Smite prepared.
Well, I would like to attack the healthy wolf since I have Searing Smite. And so I'm looking at my mace and I have the hit and then the damage. Which one should I roll?
It's actually a little bit to the left of where it says the mace. There should be like a little clip art of like
Okay,
the mace, and that should roll both.
gotcha.
Bam. So it's just going to go a little bit wide as the wolf is moving a little bit too quickly, as it's yanking out at her leg and failing, but its body is just like moving in big jumps as it's trying to get some pull on her leg. And then I think that's going to take it back to Ali.
Can I apply the bonus damage of Searing Smite again?
No, you don't have to do it again. Like you're holding concentration for a minute, which is 10 rounds of combat. The first time that you hit, that Searing Smite is going to apply.
Understood. Cool. Thanks.
Like your mace right now, I think Searing Smite is fire damage. It might actually be Holy comes to mind, which is the wrong one, but your mace is probably glowing with this damage while you're holding that concentration.
So like I took my hand across the sword, put a little blood on it, and it's on fire almost.
Yeah. Did you mean to move away from the wolf? Like
No,
move
I
to
was
the
trying
east?
to move to the one that I attacked.
If you do that, the other one is going to bite out at you from the east. And as it snaps out at you, it's just going to miss your leg.
All right, understood. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're good.
Okay. I'm going to draw my second short sword out, and as stealthy as I can, run along like this, these shadows that are along the upper right-hand side, and come out towards the wolf that I bloodied before that was underneath the tree, and attack them with both my short swords.
I mean, you can make stealth rolls, but like you're inside a combat, these things expect to get attacked. You're not really going to be like surprising stuff being stealthy right now.
Okay.
That's just going to rend that wolf in two.
Okay, and then or as my bonus action, I'd like to run up on this other wolf that is chomping down on Debbie and hit it with my other short sword.
I feel like you've moved too far
Oh,
to be
that's
able to
right. You're
get to
right.
that one. But you could throw the sword.
I'll hold off on doing that.
And then it's going to go to Sinmorn.
I am going to run. I dash to attack the wolf. And I rolled a 14.
I feel like you are just too far away to get to the wolf. What's your movement speed? 30 feet?
Yeah.
I feel like I've got you at 35, 40 feet away from it. Like to get base to base with it. Do you have a ranged attack?
No, but I can try throwing my sword into it if it's only like 5 feet away from where I can end.
Were you like just to the... Were you in that space before? Kind of like just northeast of Hector?
Yeah.
If you move up along the other side, you can cover those.
So
Yeah,
that
you can get to it running up along that side. And then make a, was it longsword attack? What did you
yeah.
say that you rolled?
Yeah, I rolled a 14.
Before your modifiers, that's a hit. Roll for damage.
Give me a second to find my dice. Five.
So that's going to leave that wolf bloodied as you cut across its spine and just open up the side of the wolf.
Nice.
There's a lot of wolf spines flying out here in this bloody battle.
Your adventures, you gotta go for it. I feel like the problem is with a lot of things is it's easy to describe opening up like some of the more like skeletal areas without cutting off stuff that actually makes it impossible for things to function. But I like going for the organs and for spines. I think this wolf is going to start to run off and beyond you all to the northeast. So I think Sinmorn, Debbie, and Raymond will get an attack of opportunity as it runs away from.
I lunge to attack. I rolled a 15.
Roll for damage.
5 again.
Anyone else? Raymond, Debbie? There we go. Raymond can get that.
I'm gonna swing
And the
at its back hips.
searing smite's just going to make it explode as Sinmorn is able to cut off a leg, and by the time your mace sinks into it, that creature is just going to be decimated.
Well, we're eating good tonight.
I think the chunks of wolf are still on fire.
Just kind of exploded.
Hector tries to calm the dying wolf as it finally passes away.
So, as the last of the wolves die at your feet, the forest just screams out. This isn't the last of them. And as you sit and wait, you start to see as the edges of light start to fall in further and further as a thick, soupy mist starts to seep into this area. And we are going to leave off with that.
All right. Man, we're gonna need a hill or try to do something for Caitlin when we come back.